Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Boom, boom, boom. Like I'm back. I've been in Mexico, now I'm back. We got in late last night, so here we are. I'm back with the drama. Actually, I kind of like thought long and hard about making this video. I almost didn't make this video because I was like, you know, I understand kind of their gig and what they're doing and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, it's rather disturbing to me. So I'm just gonna like put it out there, and I wanna say this before I get into this. This video is about Tana Mongeau and Elijah Daniel. And if you don't know who they are, because a lot of people watch my videos, and even if I talk about huge people like Shane Dawson, they're like, I don't know who that person is. I came across you, but I don't know who that person is, which is always so hilarious to me, right? So Tana Mongeau is an 18-year-old YouTuber that like blew to fame because she does these kind of like shock value story times, which she claims are always true. And then Elijah Daniel is the sidekick to Christine Seidelko, who I found like a year ago, and she's absolutely hilarious. And so now he's kind of like her sidekick, and they do all these things together. And I mean, I think he's very funny. I think he's as funny as Christine? No, but I think they complement each other very, very well. Definitely go check out both of these channels. When I originally found Tana Mongeau, I did not think she was funny. I didn't like her gig or any of that kind of stuff. She has grown on me over time, and you know, I would say that, and this is part of why I think I made this video, or why it's important for me to make this video, is that, and I probably am gonna get a lot of shit for this, okay? And this is just my 2 cents. Hate me or love me, I still like these people. This is not me saying I think they're horrible people. This is just me saying, hey, maybe think about what you're doing a little bit. You have a real opportunity here to influence people positively. Think about that, okay? Because I love both of them and I watch their videos religiously. So, but I do think that their major audience is under the age of 18. I think their major audience is like 12 to 16, to be honest with you. And it would be really interesting for me to be able to actually see their analytics and see who their major audience is. Because I think it's important when you're putting out information in the world to know who you're impacting and to know like what your reach is and what you're saying to a certain audience, okay? Because if you're saying some of the things that they said, let's say to a 35-year-old audience, that's one thing. But if you're saying what you're saying to a 12-year-old audience, it's completely something different. And although people will disagree with me on this, I do think you have a bit of a responsibility to think about your audience when you're putting information out there in the world. Okay, so anyway, Tana Mongeau and Elijah did this collaboration video, and they titled it, I Tried to Fuck Scott Disick, Now Bella Thorne Hates Me, Live Footage, LMAO. And I was like, okay, what is this? And so I started watching it. I'll be real honest with you, it's totally a clickbaity title, which I don't care. I love clickbait titles, right? For me, clickbait titles are kind of like, let me find the humor in the clickbait title, which you will if you watch the video. The video is really about Vegas and them going to EDC, which is Electric Daisy Carnival, which is Electronic Dance Music Festival. I think it's really, really important before I get in this video, or for you guys to know 2 things about me. Number 1 is that I got sober when I was 22 years old. So everything they talk about in this video, I myself have done, okay? I have also worked in the field of addiction for about that long, and mostly with teenagers. So I do kind of have a strong feeling for adolescents that could be pushed into one direction or another. It's Pee-Pee the Flying Chihuahua. Pee-Pee, what do you think about that? He said, I think they're both funny, and I think Tana Mongeau is a very pretty girl. So anyway, the other thing that you need to know is, now I forgot the other thing that I was going to say. Okay, so I got sober when I was 22. The other thing I need to tell you is that I actively go to lots of dance music festivals. See, Ultra Music Festival. I know all of the music they're talking about. The whole scene is no surprise to me. It's not like I expected them to get on here and not talk about drugs. I knew they were going to. That being said, I think you have to be very careful in how you deliver the message, okay? And I think there's something funny about getting up and telling a story time. So what this video is really about is about they got sent by somebody, because they kind of in and out of this whole video throw out jokingly about brand sponsorships and how they get paid to go do these things, which is very, very interesting to me. Elijah tells this story about how he got caught getting head in a bathroom at a hotel in Vegas and that he was banned from that hotel for good. If hotels in Vegas banned people for good for having sex in the bathrooms, first of all, there would be no hotels in business in Vegas, okay? I have been to Vegas enough times to know that people have sex in the bathrooms all the time, okay? Like, I mean, it's just kind of a given in Vegas. It's not like, oh, shock value, somebody's having sex in the bathroom stall. But anyway, but it was a good story. It made for a funny story. So they talk about that and all this kind of stuff, and then they talk about going to EDC. They don't talk about the music. They don't talk about who they saw. They don't talk about any of the DJs. They really just talk about going and partying in the VIP section, the media area or whatever, right? Which I've been in those sections too, but still people love them and enjoy the music. What's always very discerning for me about these dance music festivals is that you have this elite group that's over here that you can tell could give a rat's ass about the music, yet they have like the best seats in the house, right? It's very sad. It's very much like when you go to a concert and it's somebody that you die to see, like you cannot wait to see. And like Lady Gaga has talked about this. She's like, do not put the first 5 rows as industry people, okay? But that's ultimately what you see a lot of times at dance music festivals, is that you see this select area of people that don't really care about the music. They don't ever talk about their music. They're not dancing to the music, none of that. They're just there to party and be seen. And that's kind of what they say a little bit in this video. I mean, like, if you watch their experience, they don't talk anything about who they saw or anything. It's about doing drugs, going to the festival, and leaving the festival. So anyway, so I watched this and I was like, okay, and I was kind of thinking it was funny, and it's no surprise to me that Tana Mongeau smokes that shit ton of weed. She talks about it all the time. Elijah and Christine, they show it all the time in their videos. And you know, one of the things that I've said over time is that these people are so funny on their own. And listen, okay, I am no prude. I have lots of friends of mine that smoke weed. I don't give a rat's ass if you want to smoke weed. To me, I think smoking weed is a lot like people having a couple drinks in the evening, things like that. I don't have any issues with it, okay? I'm actually for the decriminalization of marijuana because I know that there are 80 to 90% of people that are serving prison times right now are for recidivism rates of people that have gotten caught smoking pot whether they're on parole or probation. It's ridiculous. So listen, I'm not a prude to this. I don't really care what people do. I don't understand the necessity to show and talk about it all the time, okay? What it really does is it minimizes your creativity. It kind of mutes you out unless what you're trying to do is reach to all of the people that smoke weed, and that's your gig that you want to talk about, all right? But at some point, it kind of leads into, are you just smoking weed to have fun, or are you smoking weed chronically, or are you a burnout, okay? And I think when you're on the outside and you don't smoke pot and you watch that, you kind of can evaluate for yourself. You're like, okay, are they burnouts or what? Or is that their gig? Is that their funny burnouts? Because if that's your gig, then own it, right? But then they go and they talk about going to this hotel room, I think, or somebody's house or whatever, and picking up drugs for the music festival. There I was kind of like, they're talking about party favors, which is like, you know, ecstasy, things like that. I was like, all right, okay, so this is where we're gonna go with this video. Remembering who your audience is. Your audience is 12, 13, 14-year-olds. They talk about this guy, they're offering them lines of ketamine, and they talk about it being a horse tranquilizer. Well, one of the things that you need to understand about ketamine is that, like, there is this whole, like, thing that ketamine is an animal tranquilizer, which it is. I learned the hard way, and I actually have used ketamine. I shot it in my thigh a couple times, 22 years ago, and years later, I had to have a mole removed from my arm. My dad is a surgeon, and he took me to the hospital, took me to his friend's office to have this mole removed, and they had this very long needle that they had to shoot in my arm to numb it. And my dad's like, "Are you afraid of needles?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I used to shoot ketamine in my thigh." My dad, who has never once been surprised by my drug use whatsoever, looked at me and he goes, "You did what?" And I said, "I shot ketamine in my thigh." And he goes, "Do you know what we use that for?" He was like, "We use that to remove layers of skin from third-degree burn victims that are children." He goes, "Do you know how incredibly dangerous that is to use?" So, like, to get on a video and kind of talk funny about this, like, and they say on the video, I will give them, you know, they say, don't do it, don't do it. They say that, right? But their friend does it by accident, because he's like, "Oh, I thought we all did it," right? And so then it becomes kind of this running joke for the weekend. That was kind of where I was like, okay, this video is turning funny into experience into dangerous, okay? And I think that for me, what really bothers me a lot about this video is, and listen, I like Elijah and I like Tana a lot, okay? And they don't give a rat's ass who I am. They throw out the term old man about 5 times in this video, so I know they don't respect anybody over the age of 30. They could give a rat's ass. They think they got it figured out and whatever. And you know what? At their age, they're making a lot of money off their experiences. a lot of money off of brand sponsorships, which really surprises me, okay? When we talk about major athletes, like, you know, what's that tennis player like Maria Sharapova or whatever, just recently lost like a $23 million brand partnership because of a positive drug screen. Yet YouTubers that are getting online and talking about doing Molly and like going to music festivals and their friends being fucked up on ketamine and like Xanax and all this kind of stuff, which the combination of Xanax and alcohol are deadly. When we're talking about all of this kind of stuff and we're joking about it and you're getting brand sponsorships to live and continue to do that is very, very dangerous to me. I don't understand it. I mean, it makes no sense to me whatsoever, right? So I'm watching this video and I'm like, okay, and they're going on and they're joking about this and they're joking about that and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what kind of like turned this over for me, but I was thinking about who their audience is. And you know, when you see that life on camera, it seems very exciting. It seems very cool. It seems like, oh my God, like I would love to be like Elijah's best friend or Tana's best friend and go to music festivals and have wild and crazy nights and all this kind of stuff. Not to mention that she's 18 years old, so the majority of what she's talking about, she's under the age for, okay? Which I think like is very interesting that she's sitting in VIP sections of Electronic Dance Carnival, okay, drinking drinks at 18 years old, when a lot of music festivals, like the age of how old you have to be to even get into it is like a huge deal. Trust me, I've been there, okay? Ultra used to be 18 and under, now it's 21 and under because they had such a fiasco with all this kind of stuff. So like, they try to really rein that stuff in, and I think what makes me sad is the average 14, 15-year-old sitting in their you know, bedroom watching this stuff, it seems very entertaining to them, you know, wanting to emulate this, wanting them to be like Tana or Elijah or whoever, right? And that's great, you know, but how many of those people, because when I looked, the video had like 575,000 views, okay? And realistic, it had like 61,000 likes and like 1,000 dislikes. So the majority of the people that watch them loved this video, okay? And it was a funny story time if you didn't think of it in a real serious way like I do. And it's kind of hard for me, it's like, because I have lived this the majority of my life and because I've had it in my life since I was 12 years old, it's hard for me to watch any kind of video that deals with any kind of drugs or alcohol or whatever and not kind of watch it with that eye, if that makes sense. So I'm not trying to be judgmental, but at the same time, I can't ignore it. I can't like watch away from it. And so maybe that's why like I notice it more than other people do. But for that average 14, 15, you know, 12-year-old, whatever, sitting in their bedroom watching this and they want to emulate that, how many of those people are really going to ever be on the level of Elijah and Tana, making the kind of money that they do, traveling the kind of places that they do, going to the kind of places that they do, free of charge, getting paid to do these things? They're just not, okay? Most teenagers are never going to get paid to party the way that Tana and Elijah do. So the message that they're putting out there is, party like us, it's a lot of fun, right? But these kids are going to suffer the consequences. They're going to suffer the natural consequences. And Elijah and Tana are going to continue to grow, and these kids are going to suffer, right? They're going to end up on probation. They're going to end up in treatment programs. They're not going to get into college. They're going to end up working at McDonald's. And at 30 years old, they're going to look back on this and go, well, Tana Mongeau's still doing great. Here I am working at McDonald's. Trust me, okay? And so, you know, the whole thing is very, very sad to me when I watch all of this. And, you know, I know that they meant it to be very, very funny. I won't stop watching their videos because of it. I just wish, and this is where I'm sure that if they watch this video, they will absolutely come for me. If you made it this far, Elijah and Tana, as if they're watching the old man of YouTube. If you're watching this, this is all I ask of you, okay? Is when you're putting content out into the world, really think about your audience. You guys collectively have millions of people following you on a daily basis. The power that you could do with that for good, and I've seen you guys do it. I've seen you on Twitter, like, challenge things that are out there that are bad and dangerous, right? And I've seen you like challenge the establishment, which I love, okay? I mean, that was who I was when I was your age. I just embrace that so much. But if you could take that time and that energy, and I'm not asking you not to talk about drugs and alcohol. I'm not asking you to not talk about your partying. I'm asking for you to talk about it in a way that's not damaging to other people. You know, to acknowledge the reality that you get to do all these kinds of things, but maybe for the person sitting in the bedroom, it's never gonna happen to them. You know, and you can do it in a way where you're not gonna lose subs and it's still gonna be awfully exciting for you and for the people to watch it. You could have told this whole thing and say, you know, it's really great that we get to go do these things, and then at some point we're gonna be old too, and we're gonna be the ones that everybody else is looking at and thinking, oh my God, who's that old man at this music festival? Because it'll happen. Get ready. It'll happen, okay? Trust me. I've been on both ends of that coin. So, you know, and then maybe just bring some acknowledgement of, like, at the end of the video saying, hey, listen, we joked a lot about drugs and alcohol, but if you think that you have a drug or alcohol problem, there are people to reach out to. You know, contact your parents, be responsible with it. That's all I'm asking, okay? Because there are people out there right now that cannot control their drug and alcohol use, and it is causing them major, major problems in their life. I get messages on a daily basis of people saying, I don't know what to do, and I've been partying since I was 15, and now my life is out of control, and I got kicked out of college, my parents don't want me home, I can't support myself, what do I do? And to see a video like that, they think that's the norm, and that isn't the norm. You guys have a very, very, you know, awesome life where you get to go and do all this kind of stuff. But I think that it's very dangerous to put that out there in the world and let everybody think that that's normal, because that's just not normal, you know? And I wish you guys both the best. I'm like speaking right to them, I guess, but I know they'll never watch this. I hope that addiction never catches up with you, because it's a horrible, horrible disease. And a lot of people don't believe that it's a disease, but most people's lives, most people's families, somebody in their life are affected by it one time or another. I've been to enough funerals of teenagers that have died from addiction because they never thought that it would happen to them. And they sat there and told the same kinds of stories, and they thought it was funny, and they thought it was hilarious, and they no longer have the... They're not alive anymore to look back on that and tell those funny stories anymore. And I don't wish that on anybody, you know? And I think to be able to do something really, really positive with the stories that you're telling, and you can still tell elaborate, hilarious, off-the-end stories and still be responsible. That's all I'm asking, okay? So anyway, yeah, that's all I got to say. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.